Oh, what's up, guys? Road Warrior 627 here, and welcome back to another preview for another big race. This time we're talking about the world's now second richest horse race, the Dubai World Cup, obviously surpassed by the Pegasus World Cup in January. Won by the heavy favorite in this field, Arrogate. And Arrogate comes back about 2 months off of his big Pegasus win that earned him a buyer of around 120. So he comes all the way across the ocean, and the Mediterranean in fact as well, to go all the way to Dubai and race in this yearly classic, I guess you could call it, since it's been around for 20 years. Not in the US obviously, but overseas. So let's talk about it. Arrogate drew very, I guess, favorably. He's going to be on the outside, which seems to be no problem for him. He drew the 9 post for the Dubai World Cup. Should suit him well. He won the Breeders' Cup off of the 10, and he won the Pegasus from the rail. So he had no problems in either place, and I don't expect him to have any problems here either. He is one hell of a horse. So I expect him to win, and pretty much that's that. We'll talk about if it's even worth playing the race a couple of minutes from now as well. We know the story with Arrogate, Breeders' Cup Classic winner, Pegasus World Cup winner, on the cusp of already getting by California Chrome for the most earnings in history. Arrogate is looking like he's already going to be Horse of the Year if he can just continue what he's done. Or even, he doesn't really even have to run as good as he's been running to beat everybody else. There's no California Chrome anymore. Now, obviously, California Chrome didn't show up in the Pegasus World Cup, but there's nobody like he was the year before. This big, imposing presence out at Santa Anita where you'd never want to go for a handicap race. Arrogate is now that horse, and he can go wherever the hell he wants, and he'll probably win. Whether that be here, whether that be Belmont for the mile on Belmont Stakes Day, whether that be at Saratoga for the Whitney, whether it be for the Breeders' Cup Classic, of course, later in the year, at the end of the year. In the Dubai World Cup, it's very interesting because Dubai is almost a completely different racetrack than that of the ones over here. It is left-handed, however the soil composition is very different. We have yet to see if he really likes it. He hasn't trained over it that much. Initial signs say he's doing just fine as expected. But we won't really know until he runs how much he really likes the track. There are some other horses in here that do have some intrigue, most notably Gunrunner, a very nice, and that's putting it bluntly, a very nice compared to Arrogate 3-year-old from last year, who won some nice races, including the Louisiana Derby, and plus the Pennsylvania. Did he win the Pennsylvania Derby? No, I believe he actually got beat by Connect. I believe he got beat by Connect in the Pennsylvania Derby. Fact check that for me. But anyway, he ran very well last year as a nice 3-year-old. I'd say he actually wound up even being better than any of the Triple Crown race winners, Nyquist Exaggerator, or even Creator. But I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be with Gunrunner this time. He looks like he's the co-second choice at 8-1. So he does have some merit from last year, but going up against Arrogate, a horse who he's gotten beaten by a lot anyway. He's really the next best contender besides one other horse who also needs to be talked about. That is the 5-year-old Mubtahij. Now, Mubtahij, unlike many of the horses in this field, have a race over the track, and he has a winning race over the track as well. Now, Mubtahij won the UAE Derby back here in 2015 before tackling American Pharaoh. He is the 14 horse, so he'd be all the way on the outside. There's also Lonnie, another UAE Derby winner, who doesn't seem as good as Mubtahish was in showing some good efforts in some handicap races last year. But Lonnie, he finished third in the Belmont. He has a win over the track. Got Ryan Moore this time. Very good jock. He's 60-1. In other words, I hardly usually ever count anybody out in a horse race, because in horse racing, anything can happen, as I've known for the past 10 years. But if Lonnie somehow manages to even get second in this race, I'd be very surprised. I'd be shocked if anybody besides Arrogate won this race. So that leads to the previously mentioned point. Is this race even worth betting? Now, in my opinion, it's not. You can't even bet in Dubai. You can bet over here in America. It's just not worth it. The point is that Arrogate is on the morning line at 1-3, a price I never see. I never see 1-3. I see maybe 1-2 or 1-4 or 1-5. You don't see 1-3. So that's a little bit strange. But anyway, the point is he's way less than even. He's odds on. And the fact is he's probably going to win. You want to play some multi-race bets with the races before. I believe the Golden Shaheem is before this in the sequence. The Shima Classic is the race before this. A race for 3-year-olds and up are about 1.5 miles. So it's actually very similar to the Dubai World Cup, except it's only 6 million instead of 10 million. And it's also open to 3-year-olds and up. Now, the interesting thing is here, if you hit one of these multi-race bets, you may make some money. But even the exotics in this race, in the Dubai World Cup itself, I don't even know if they're worth coming in when the prices do hit the board. There's a couple of long shots who could make up the exotics, who can get a piece, especially the ones I mentioned. Besides Gunrunner and Mubtahish, who seem to be the co-second choices as previously mentioned, and probably it will stay that way. Maybe look for a horse like Opportunity, who usually shows up in big races. Ran not too badly here before. Also, you might want to check on Long River, who might have to dig way deep. But he did have a very nice performance in the Jockey Club Gold Cup a few years back. But those are absolute bombs at 60-1. Opportunity, less of one at 15-1. More of a realistic shot there with a very nice rider in Flavian Pratt for Bob Baffert, who also has Arrogate. So there's your uncoupled entries right in there. So if you wanna throw those two in and exact the box, in fact, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna throw Arrogate and Opportunity in an exacta box. That's right, Bob Baffert, according to me, will finish first and second in the Dubai World Cup. For me, with Gunrunner third and with Mubtahish in fourth. I know I'm counting out almost all the foreign horses. I didn't talk about Neolithic, who's a very nice 20-1 shot for Velasquez and Pletcher. Those two have obviously been very dangerous over the years, even with longer shots. So you have to watch for horses like that. Maybe I'll throw Neolithic in there for something. He'd be kind of my watch out horse. But as far as this race, I'm just gonna try and be realistic. I hate picking favorites, but this time, and probably the way it's going, if it stays the way it is for the rest of the year, you're just gonna have to pick Arrogate and absolutely deal with it. Because if he keeps doing what he's doing, and that's a very hard thing to do, putting up 120 buyers every start, then we seriously could be talking about a great horse. An absolutely great horse. But that remains to be seen throughout this year. This year's going to have a big effect on Arrogate's reputation, if he turns into one of the all-time greats or not. In closing, people, don't bet this race. You're probably not going to make any money off of it. Again, probably. It's a horse race. Things can happen. But if you want to bet anything, box Arrogate an opportunity in case Baffert pulls one of those uncoupled entry mix-ups that can happen with trainers like Jimmy Jerkins or Charlie Baker. So that is it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the Dubai World Cup tomorrow, Saturday, March 25th. Post time is at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.